It's a tradition as old as time. Muenster playing on Thanksgiving week. Hello, everybody. Terry Bennett here on the Muenster Hornet Football Show, right here on L4 Media. As the Hornets dispatch of Wellington 63-21 in the second round matchup, and in a familiar old foe awaits the Albany Lions. Man, this as tradition as old as time as these two teams playing in the playoffs. Of course, the last couple of years, specifically last year, Muenster was able to beat Albany 56-14. But the year before, that to me is still the game. And Coach Carney has talked about this before. The game that this class proved that they could be competitive against the top teams in Class 2A Division 2. Basically, I don't want to say they outplayed Albany in that game, but they kind of did. But a late turnover, Albany was able to preserve the win, make it back to the state championship. And then, of course, last year, Muenster took that state championship. So here we go again. Two venerable programs inside this region. This, to my opinion, and no disrespect to Wellington or Cross Plains, but for Muenster, the playoffs begin this week. All right, we're going to be doing what we always do, and that's talk to the head coach of the Muenster Hornets, Coach Brady Carney. And we'll do that when we come back right here on the Muenster Football Show. Just want to remind everybody, you can check out Sideline to Sideline, Class 2A, 3A, and 4A each and every week during the playoffs. Of course, we'll also have our big state championship preview shows, watch parties. That week is going to be action-packed, and we're pretty sure Muenster's going to be there. So check us out. Each week, we record on Tuesday nights, most nights. You can find our video at youtube.com/@L4 Media Company, or the audio version I put up the next day after the video's been up. You can find on pretty much all podcast platforms, but also on our podcast page, S2S Grant and Terry.com. Now, let's get back to Terry and Coach Carney. Terry Bennett back here on the Muenster Football Show. Now joined by the head coach of the Hornets, Coach Brady Carney. And Coach, congratulations. You beat a really good team in Wellington, 63-21. What were your thoughts?
Man, I thought we played well at times. I didn't think we were clean on offense as what we had been. Just same things here and there. Kaysen missed a post route with Garrett Hess, missed a touchdown with Nolan Peel. Garrett Hess dropped the football. Garrett never drops footballs, for a first down. And I knew we weren't executing really well on offense, but it's hard just to say a ton when you're still able to put up, whatever we put up for first half, 48 points or something. Thought we executed our 2-minute offense really well right before half. I think we got the ball back with 40 seconds. And we're able to punch it in for a touchdown. Defensively created, I think, 4 turnovers the first half, which led to some points for us. And then special teams were good again. We've improved so much on the special team side of things. Legends kickoffs, PATs, and then Mavericks' ability to return punts, man, have just really been a plus for us.
Well, and again, that's one of the things all year long you've talked about, improving your special teams, and it feels like you're getting them right where you want them, right when you need them, this deep into the playoffs.
Yeah, Nolan, I think we had 2 punts. I think we punted 3 times, and 2 of them were inside the 10-yard line, which is something we work on, pinning people deep, and I think we executed that. Like I said, I think we hit it twice, 2 out of 3 times inside the 10-yard line, which is always something we work on during practice as well. So, no, man, we've improved a ton since the beginning of the season on that side of the football.
All right, well, here we are. Thanksgiving week. We talked a little bit about it last week. First off, what do y'all do on Thanksgiving Day as a team?
We have practice. I try to get them up there. Maybe I think we go at 9 tomorrow. I try to get them out there about 10:15, 10:30 so they can head out and be with their families for the afternoon and eat and watch football with their, dads, moms, grandmas, and everybody and just kind of relax a little bit. And then we'll come back up Friday morning for breakfast at 9:30 or so. Then they'll go back home, come back up and pack, and we'll get out of there about 1. But, yeah, we've practiced. We practiced later Monday because of the rain. So we went ahead and went Monday afternoon and then 9:30 yesterday morning and this morning. So that's kind of how we've been doing things. But yeah, tomorrow morning will be 9 to 10:30 or 10:15. Then I'll get them out of there so they can spend some time with their families on Thanksgiving.
All right. You have a familiar foe in Albany. It feels like y'all play each other every year. What are your thoughts when you see the Lions on film?
Man, you pop the film on, you see a really, really good defensive football team. I think that stands out more than anything. think they gave a point up during district. You look at the schedule. I think they were all shutouts during district, and then rolling into the playoffs, same thing. They just don't give up more than a couple of touchdowns, if that. I think average-wise they give up 7 points, which is outstanding in today's game and how offenses are built and so forth. But that's the main thing that stands out, man. You just see a really big physical defensive unit. Offensively, I don't feel like they have, they don't have Adam Hill, which not everybody has Adam Hill. You don't have those guys very often. One of those dudes in the back end they could just really lean on. But they do have an exceptional group of wide receivers. Number one, the Fairchild kid stands out as just a really talented kid. Every game you watch, he just comes down with an outstanding catch. Quarterback just continues to get better each week. He's kind of a dual threat kid. They'll run him some. Had a big week last week versus Quan in the run game. And then, man, he's able to put the ball up there and let those guys go get it, and has improved with each outing. So, but going back to your original question, this seems more of a defensive-led football team than what it's been. I'm not saying they haven't played good defense. Don't get me wrong. But they're really leaning on their defense this year, and as they should, because they're a very talented group.
And, they're a program just like y'all that they go deep almost yearly. And you and I have talked about how, those extra practices matter. And especially for a young team, because they might be a bunch of sophomores and juniors classification wise, but they've played more games than a lot of seniors will play in their whole career.
You bet. No, we talk about that year in and year out. You get the teams that are fortunate enough to play, until Thanksgiving or December each year, and that's an extra 4 or 5 games, which means an extra 4 or 5 weeks of practice. And you add that together for a senior group, and you're looking to where they've played now close to 50 to 60 games, where some schools only get 40 in. So we got seniors that have basically played 5 years of high school football. And same way with Albany and all those teams that make it to that level each year, and you can definitely see, and that's part of the reason they make it that far. And then also consistency in the coaching staff. Of course, Coach Faith has been there a long time, and the guys he has with him have been there a long time. So those kids learn their scheme and how they do things from 7th grade up until they're seniors, and they have it all down by the time they get there. And that's exactly what you see year in, year out with those guys.
How proud are you of your district, 8-2A Division II, 3 teams left standing, and even Santo played Albany pretty solid in their first round loss to them. But we talked about it all year, how tough this district is, and you're seeing it now.
Yeah, no, it's I knew that, going into the season, me and Coach Patterson talked about it, and we knew Lindsay was going to be a very talented football team. Of course, Collins was very talented. We've still got talent, and Santo's always just a bunch of hard-nosed, well-coached kids that play extremely hard. And I'm telling you, Coach Mann's got a group coming up. They're all sophomores and juniors, too. They're going to be hard to deal with the next few years. So, no, our district is tough. And it's one of those things you look up and you're extremely proud when you got 3 of your 4 playoff teams that are still playing in the regional finals, and it makes you better. I think anybody will tell you that no one likes to lose football games, but you go play good football teams and you play them close and you fight your tail off. I'm a firm believer you get better from that, and I think that's key in our district. Us getting to play Collinsville, Lindsay, and them playing us, and so forth, and I think it just makes teams better, getting good competition, man. And I think it's showing up, right now, 3rd round of playoffs.
Now, for you tomorrow, will you take time off and watch some pro football and such, or are you just still focused on game planning for the game?
No. We'll go out to Brandy's mom's, and we'll go eat Thanksgiving lunch over there and sit down and watch the Cowboys play and the Lions and all that stuff. And that's kind of how we'll roll tomorrow. And definitely going to watch the football. But then after that, we got to get our mind back to where it needs to be, and get up early Friday morning and get back after it and get ready to, go out and hopefully get a win against Albany and kind of see where we go from there. But it's going to be a tough bout, man. They're a good football team. Always are. Like you said, I feel like we're in the same position every year. I don't know. Been coaching in Muenster for 16 years. I feel like we've probably played them 8, 9, 10 times in my 16 years. So it's kind of become a little playoff rivalry. I think they enjoy it as much as we do. two great communities coming together and playing some good football. I think that's what makes Thanksgiving special.
All right, the most important question I've ever asked you, final one of the show.
Yeah.
Are you a dressing or stuffing man?
Dressing, man. That's how I grew up. If you're from Texas, you're eating dressing. You're eating stuffing, something ain't right, man. So I'm a firm believer.
And as always, I thank Coach Carney for joining us here on the Muenster Show and for correctly answering the question, stuffing or dressing. If you're in the state of Texas, it's dressing. There's just no other way. Nothing against stuffing. Don't get me wrong. But dressing's the real deal. Man, I love this week. This is my favorite week of football. Again, we've talked about it. State championship week is awesome, but it's just there's so much going on that you kind of lose the narrative of they're playing for state championships. With Thanksgiving week, you've got all forms of football rocking and rolling. You got the NFL, of course, on Turkey Day and Black Friday. Now, hey, that Chicago-Philadelphia game is going to be a fun matchup. You've got college football, Texas, and Aggies are matching up on Friday. Michigan, Ohio State on Saturday, plus multiple other rivalry games. And then, of course, you've got high school football, and you've got Friday day high school football, which is absolutely, just a great day. We'll be down in the Houston area. We're going to watch two games on Friday, Kilgore versus Bridge City, and then we're going to watch Columbus versus Franklin. And then Saturday, we're going to be in the hotel just watching a lot of college football, watching some 6A and 5A football on the laptop. I mean, it's a great week of football. And for Muenster, this is a tradition now. My other coaches show that I'm still doing. Brock, same thing, man. Y'all have this down on Thursdays on Thanksgiving week. I mean, y'all just know how to get to the third round of the playoffs. Once again, another goal achieved. If you have any questions, thoughts, or comments, you can email the show, Terry@S2SSport.com. Also, again, check out our Sideline to Sideline Class 2A show. Next week, it'll be the region championships. That's right. We are at the halfway part of the football playoffs here for the 2025 season. Once again, the season has flown by, man. As I'm looking at the calendar right now on my laptop, November 27th just blows my mind. Happy Thanksgiving, everybody. Be safe in your travels, and we'll meet back here next week on the Muenster Hornet Football Show right here on L4 Media.